So if you haven't figured it out yet, what's going on is the government or a small breakaway group that is in cohorts with the government and the military, and they control aspects of the media from the top down. What they're doing is they're running a protection racket on you. That's what they're getting your tax money for. Who do you think is arming these terrorist groups? It's these same people. It was in the news just this week. The UK government is not only been arming the Saudis for years, but this week they've proposed to sell them loads of fighter jets. Do you realise who committed 9/11? 15 of the hijackers were Saudis, at least according to the official story. And now we're arming them again. Can you not see what's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. They're running a protection racket on the public so that they can get your tax money. Once they've got your tax money, they're then selling arms to these groups in the Middle East and elsewhere around the world, arming them, funding them, and then when they commit the acts of terror against our countrymen become afraid, and when we're afraid, we will put more money in, more taxes into our military, into our government. So it's just a loop, it's just a cycle, it's just a really simple protection racket. And the crazy thing is, people, they want to blame the poor, they want to blame anyone they possibly can, apart from the people that are actually doing it. And the truth is, it's just a really simple scam. You're having a scam run on you. So if you think you're a good person for paying your taxes to the government, be aware that what you're actually doing is funding them to arm these militias to power that will then create acts of terrorism on our country. That's why acts of terrorism are happening on our country, because we arm them, and then when they get big enough, we go in, destroy them, take all their resources and rebuild. And that's all it is. It's a really simple business. The business of war, divide and conquer. Been going on for absolutely years. If you study history, it's happened over and over again all throughout history. Every few years they're doing this. They're arming groups and then creating wars. And this new thing they call terror, it's a perpetual war. It's one that never ends. There's no end to it, and that's why they created it. And they use the word terror as a neuro-linguistic programming word, because if the media is constantly saying terror, 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 what does it do? It makes the public afraid. And if they're afraid, they're not going to be facing off against the true enemy of them, which is this breakaway group that's controlling the arms industry, controlling the military, controlling the government, controlling the banks, and they even control the media. It's very easily done. All they do is feed in stories to Reuters, and everyone else gets all their stories from Reuters. They all copy it from them. The way I first realised this was when they were on TV in Britain saying about the weapons of mass destruction, and I started looking around the world news, and all the Western news sources had politicians on TV, and they were all reading the exact same speech off in every single country. And I was thinking, how are these guys all reading the same speech? It's obvious. They're being given the speech by someone else. So if these politicians are our leaders, then who is giving them this same speech to read off about weapons of mass destruction? And at the time, I told my parents this, and they're like, "Oh, no, you're just paranoid." Well, lo and behold, comes out a few years later, there are no weapons of mass destruction. They lied about it to create this perpetual war on terror. And then it comes out this week. What are we doing again? We're now arming the same group of people that committed 9/11. We're arming them with planes. If that's not fucking crazy, and you can't see what they're doing here, then I don't know. There's no help for you, really. If you want to just blame religious groups or whatever, then you really have no idea about the big picture, about what's going on here. This is about money. This is about control. This is a business.